In March of 22nd CE, Jesus left his job as boatmaker with Zebedee and traveled from Capernaum to Jerusalem, promising to meet the Zebedee family there in April for Passover. But before he left, he turned his financial affairs over to John Zebedee, arranging matters so that his family would continue to receive regular assistance from his earnings that he had saved over his time at the boat shop. John consulted with his father, and together they decided that it would be wise to invest Jesus' money into real estate. They found a mortgaged house in Capernaum that could furnish rental income, and they bought it in Jesus' name. But Jesus did not know of this transaction on his behalf. During the 2 months that Jesus spent in Jerusalem, he attended temple discussions and visited the schools of the rabbis. He also met Annas, a former high priest, who spent a lot of time with Jesus, taking him around to various academies where many Jewish religious teachers studied and taught. And when Passover rolled around, Jesus again met up with Zebedee and his family at Annas' home, where they enjoyed Passover as one big family. During this Passover week in Jerusalem, Jesus happened to meet Gonod and Ganid, father and son travelers from India. These travelers were preparing a 2-year trip through the Mediterranean region, and the father was looking for someone who could act as interpreter for both of them, as well as tutor for the teenaged son. The father insisted that Jesus could fulfill those roles and asked that he consent to travel with them. When Jesus explained to Gonod that he had an obligation to care for his family in Nazareth, Gonod agreed to advance Jesus the sum of 1 year's wages so that he could go on this long trip without worrying about his family's financial health in his absence. And Jesus agreed to go with them. Jesus gave this large amount of money to Zebedee, and Zebedee put it onto the mortgage on the house in Capernaum, so that Jesus then owned the home free and clear, all unknown to him. Jesus told Zebedee about the trip to the Mediterranean, but he asked Zebedee to keep the trip a secret, and Zebedee never told anyone. Jesus spent the rest of this year touring the Mediterranean regions with Gonod and Ganid.